because his faith went low. But what is the solution? If we go back to Galatians 2:20, you got to read it carefully, because and that's why I like the King James Version, because a lot of versions kind of switch it up. It says, I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me, and the life I now live I in the flesh. Listen to what he says carefully. I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. And different translations, it'll say, I live by faith in the Son of God, meaning that Paul is saying, I have faith in God, and that's how I live. This substance of things hoped for, I have in God, my faith in God is how I live. But that's not what King James says. The original version is, again, I live by the faith of the Son of God. So Paul is actually saying, I'm not living by my own faith, I'm living by the Son of God's faith in the Son of God. He's living by the faith of Jesus in Jesus, because Jesus has perfect faith in Jesus.
Right.
Look when the devil came, because again, there are a lot of disciples that walked with Jesus who waxed and waned on who he was and said, who do the people say? Oh, you're John the Baptist. They say you're John the Baptist. They say you say you're this prophet, come back and that. Who you said I am? You're the Son of God. But Jesus, he never doubted. When the devil took him up, what did he say? Turn these stones into bread. If thou be, he always presented him with a question, if thou be the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. Man will not live by bread alone. Okay, well, if thou be, trying to cause doubt in unfaithfulness in his faith, if thou be the Son of God, toss yourself off of this temple. The angels, he'll send angels to bear you up. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Okay, well, I'll give you all the kingdoms on this earth, bow down to me, worship me. Thou shalt only worship the Lord thy God. He had perfect faith in himself. He never doubted. So Paul is saying, when my faith is low, I don't have to use my own, because Jesus has perfect faith in himself. He says, I live in the faith of the Son of God. The Son of God has perfect faith in his abilities. He doesn't question whether he can heal you. He already knows he can heal you. He doesn't question whether he can get you out of a situation. He knows perfectly well he can. He doesn't question whether he can turn your situation around, or whether he can get that family member out of that situation or that situation. We sometimes doubt it, but God never doubts it. So because we sometimes don't have the funds in our spiritual bank account, Paul is saying sometimes I'm spiritually bankrupt. So I'm going to go to that multi-billionaire's account, God's account, who has unlimited funds as far as faith. I'm going to draw on his faith. He said, I live in the faith of the Son of God. That's the faith that I live by. Because I may wake up one day and I may not feel very spiritual. I may have missed my Bible reading. I may have missed praying to him, rushing out to work. But God never wavers in his faith. That's all I got. Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Yes. So
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, bye.
Thank you, Bryson.